Hey everyone, and welcome to part 2 of the tutorial for Child in Time by Ritchie Blackmore. Just going to do a quick format change, unfortunately mid-solo here for a couple of reasons. For part 1 of this solo, I pretty much broke it down fret number by fret number and finger position by finger position. I'm going to stop doing that going forward in this tutorial and in all of my tutorials in the future. It's very much a beginner-friendly way of doing tutorials, and as this solo in particular is nowhere near accessible for a beginner guitarist, I'm going to stop doing it this way. There are some really great teachers on YouTube who prefer to teach in this manner. Carl Brown being arguably the best, in my opinion. Australian Chris Zupa for metal solos also teaches in this manner, and both are fantastic instructors. They teach guitar riffs and solos broken down to the note. And that's fine, but for me, in my future tutorials, I'll be avoiding this method. One of my personal favorite instructors on YouTube is a fellow named Andy from Shut Up and Play. And he never teaches note by note, fret number by fret number. So in the future, as I increase the number of tutorials on my channel, I'll be instructing closer to the style of Andy from Shut Up and Play and less like Carl Brown and Chris Zupa. I'll be showing each phrase slowed down in close-up, repeated a number of times, discuss any aspect of it that needs discussing, and explain it in its proper and/or easiest position on the neck to play it in. Plus any techniques that are needed or interesting scale deviations. I'll explain all of that stuff as well as I go along. As much of what I teach and do tutorials for, at least up to this point, is not really geared towards the beginner guitarist. I think that this is the easier, for me at least, most streamlined and logical path going forward. So let's dig into part 2 of the solo to Child in Time by Ritchie Blackmore. The second half of this solo is pretty easy to teach actually, and to learn, though it's by no means easy to play at speed. As it's pretty much broken up into a lot of distinct 4 and 6 note lick patterns, so it's pretty easy to wrap your head around. I'm going to play through the second half of the solo at about 75% speed to get things started, and you can refer back to this as needed. So I'm going to move in for a little closer shot here and do a little playthrough of the second half of the solo to Child in Time. All right, let's have a look at the second half of this solo. We are still in standard tuning, of course, and we're coming out of this. Now, that's where we left off, right there. And then the transition into the next part of the solo is a big long pick slide or sliding up and down the neck, or you could use your whammy bar, I suppose. And then it moves into this. That's just 5/7 on the D string. And then into this. So that's the little 4-note pattern repeats twice. And then hit 7 again and slide it into 9. And then we're into this. Now you'll find that pattern of notes repeated a lot throughout this solo. And here we're on 8 and 10 of the B and 9 of the G. And that's pretty easy. And then we're into this. Now you see that's kind of the same pattern as this. And so it's 3-note pattern, the first 2. And here we're at 8 and 12, and then 10 of the B. And that's the first 4. So it's 2 3-note patterns followed by this 4-note pattern. And then back to the 3-note pattern. And then you repeat it again. Repeat. But this time, the last one, you don't repeat the same 3-note pattern. You back it up to 11. You see what I mean? So, the whole, the 2 4-note patterns. And then you repeat the whole thing again. And when you get to that point right there, it changes the 4-note pattern here. You back it up to 11. And then you go 10, 8, 10 for the last 3-note pattern. You following? Let me just play the whole thing slowly. And then you're going to grab 10 and give 10 on the high E and bend it 10 times. The first 5 slower than the last 5, like this. And the last one, you release halfway down. So it's like up to that note. And give it a little waggle. So up to that point. And then we're into this. And you repeat that 4 times. And that is 14, 13, 12 on the G, the B, and the high E. And then you're going to grab 15 and give it a full step bend. You want to hear the natural note at the 15th fret briefly before you start bending it. And a full step bend. And you repeat that 4 times. And at speed, that is hard to do. You can sweep it, I suppose. And then a quick transition back here. And that is 5-8-5. For 2 full step bends at 8 on the B. And then into this lick. up to that point, and now we're into a little blues lick. And that's just a A minor blues lick right there. So you repeat that 3 times, and then you grab 8 and give it a little full step bend with vibrato, and you repeat that pattern twice. And then you speed it up, and you just repeat it once. When you're playing this at speed, I'm playing this giving it some vibrato. When you're playing at speed, you do not have time to give it vibrato. So just get that note up there, the one on the 8th fret of the B. You repeat that 4 times. And the last time, you give that, the bend, 3 good pulls. And then you can add a little bit of vibrato when you have time. And then we're into this. And that is a little rake down the strings right here at 9, 8, 8. And then grab 10. And then 2 full step bends at 10 there. And now we're going to repeat a lick that the same lick we played to finish the first half of this solo. That same lick, and but a slight change at the beginning of it. The first time we played it right from the note on 10 here, with that little repeating pattern. This time we're going to come out of the bend with a pre-bend. So the first time was just like this. This time, a little pre-bend action going on. So, and then the same lick. Same lick we finished up the first half of the solo with. And now we're going to come into this. So coming out of the bends. Nothing too difficult there. And then we're into this. And that is the same little pattern as this from earlier on. And so the first 2 are the same. And then the next 3 are 4-note patterns. And then another 3-note pattern, same as what we were doing up here. See, not too hard. You've already done that. And then you're going to grab 5 on the B string and give it 6 full step bends. And then we're into this. And that is a little chromatic pull-off from 5 to 4 to 3, and then grabbing 5 on the G, and then rolling down to 5 on the high E. You can grab both. You can grab both strings, bar them both, the B and the E, if you want, or you can just grab the low E. I think he's just grabbing that one note. So you repeat that 3 times, and the very last time you're going to have a slight deviation and do it down on the high E string. So. And now we're into this. And so that's 5 times you do this. And then you do it 3 more times, but the timing changes a little bit. See if you can hear this. I'm going to play it slowly. After the 5th time you do this, you hit a double hit on the open E and then change the timing slightly. Listen for this. You hear that little change in timing? One more time. And then you finish up on 3 of the high E there. And then 2 full step bends at the 5th fret. And then just a little back and forth between 5 and 3 on the high E. And then a final scale run to finish up the whole thing. And this is very hard to hear on the original recording what he's doing here, but I listened meticulously, and I think I've got it. So that whole little lick. Little roll down from B to G, or B to E. Little chromatic there from 5 to 6 to 7. How that sounds at maybe 75% speed. And then this finishes up open G. And just up on the 2 of the G and the D into a power chord, 2 power chords actually. And then you're going to repeat that little phrase 3 times quickly. And then you're going to do it again. And at this point, the keyboards start coming in with this. So the keyboards, that is repeated 8 times, and the keyboards play it the first time by themselves. And then for the final 7 times, the guitar comes in and joins him. And so you repeat that 7 times, and that is 10, and it's right back in this same little spot that we were doing this. except we're playing a different melody. And repeat that 7 times. Nothing too difficult there. It's all pretty static, no bending or anything, no vibrato. And that repeats 7 times. And that's the end of the solo. And so if you wanted to learn that one, now you've got a tutorial to help you out. So anyway, you guys take care of yourselves. Keep an eye out in the future for other long and complicated solos, because that is the kind of stuff that I like to do. So we'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Have fun with that. It's hard as balls to play at full speed. So take care. Ciao.